Alright, how you all doing? Today's an interesting day. 26th of March, 2021. Monster Hunter Day. It's not actually Monster Hunter Day, but today is the release day of the, at the time of recording at least, exclusive to Nintendo Switch, Monster Hunter Rise. I say that because you never know if a game's popular on one platform, they say it's going to be an exclusive, and then it somehow drifts over to another one. But Nintendo Switch exclusive, Monster Hunter Rise. And for anyone that doesn't know, I'm a pretty big Monster Hunter fan. I've been playing Monster Hunter games since the first one in 2004, 2005. That was on the PlayStation 2. And I've been playing them all the way through up until its kind of launch to mainstream in Monster Hunter World that released like 2 years ago-ish, a couple of years ago. So, I just wanted to make this video I'm not going to really show off anything gameplay-wise. I've streamed it for like 4 hours today, so hint, I quite like it. But I wanted to just mention a few things and a few observations as a retro player, as an old Monster Hunter player. And so, first things first, to celebrate Monster Hunter Day, because it ain't the same day every year. It just isn't, right? My family got me a few gifts. And I'm so thankful. Okay? So, one, Monster Hunter Rise Switch Pro controller. I imagine this is the new Pro pad. And I say new, there have been two variants of the Pro pad. One of them has a little divot in the D-pad, and the original didn't. So you could, like, in the original, you could just kind of squish the entire D-pad down. It was kind of not good, which was like the Splatoon ones. And I think every other pad that came out after the Xenoblade pad had the little divot so that it would actually pivot on a center point like an actual D-pad should, rather than being a squidgy mess. I'm assuming it's like that. So psyched. Fucking Monster Hunter, mate. And then, so this is actually weird because I got gifted a copy of the game and the Monster Hunter Rise Nintendo Switch. So this isn't going to be an unboxing at all either, but it's got the Monster Hunter Rise themed Nintendo Switch in it, so it's got all the monstery designs on it, the tribal style designs on it. Although this is more of a ninja themed Monster Hunter, kind of like Portable Third. If anyone's played that, as a Japan only Monster Hunter, but it's all nice and kind of, and I mean, very 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 pretty, very pretty. You ain't gonna be able to see it very well on the back, but there's designs on the Switch on the front and the back, and the graphics you get here on the back of the box, by the way, are actually in-game graphics. So for the Nintendo Switch, I would say that is very nice. So, really thankful for those. Super psyched. I've got a few people that want to play already. Old friend Divine wants to come in. My mistress wants to come in. The Kidley Dinks have shown a little bit of interest, but not sure yet. But thank you for those. So psyched. So good. Is Monster Hunter Rise any good? Well, if you came in from Monster Hunter World, yes. If you come in from classic Monster Hunter, well, if you liked World, yes. If you didn't like World, which I had quite a few beefs with it, then but as a classic player, I have to understand that this is the direction that Monster Hunter is going since World released. Okay, for years and years and years, Monster Hunter stuck to the same formula, same graphic style, and it just that was Monster Hunter. Then World came out and it was very, very, very different. Very different. And there's an odd thing, something that really throws my brain a little bit. So I don't actually know if I still have the numbers up here, the actual dates, but let's see. So let's bring this up. Right. Monster Hunter World came out in, was it 2018? January 2018. And I was torn on it. It was fun, but as I say, they changed so much. There wasn't really a hunt in Monster Hunter World. They would allow you to track the monster, so you'd find, like, I don't know, tracks on the floor, and you could examine them, and then you had these little, like, firefly things that would then fly off and lead you to where the monster was. So there was no real looking for it. It just basically kind of told you where it was. Monster Hunter World, you didn't have to be particularly cautious either. It was a much faster paced Monster Hunter game. I've talked on this channel before, within the last month or so, how classic Monster Hunter games were just like, they're kind of a lesson in life. Prepare and you will win. With enough prep and practice, you've got stuff down, right? Monster Hunter World, just go ham on it. You will win. I even got so bad, I mentioned it in the last Monster Hunter video, that if you carted more than a handful of times before you got to, like, the higher rank stuff, just put down the control pad and walk away. Carting is when you faint or get knocked out in a fight. You can get knocked out 3 times and that's the fight over. And in Monster Hunter World, it was so easy. It was embarrassing. Oddly enough, World players are kind of complaining to a point that Rise is super easy, but if you come from classic Monster Hunter, World players, you've got no idea. No idea. So what I was saying was, so World came out in 2018 for Xbox and PlayStation 4. Beginning of 2018. Right? Then we had a classic Monster Hunter release, so a classic style Monster Hunter release so it was January for World, August 2018 for this classic release, which was Generations Ultimate, I think it's called. Yeah, Generations Ultimate or Double Cross. And the reason, right, so someone's going to say, well, you know, so what? Like, it just happened. The reason it's weird is because Generations Ultimate had come out, or Double Cross as it was known in Japan, came out like a year earlier. In Japan. Long before, it came out like probably about 6 months, 8 months before World. Right? Classic Monster Hunter. Came out on the Switch. We didn't get it for moons later. That probably took ages to translate. Nope. No. Monster Hunter Generations originally came out in the EU and North America in 2016 on the 3DS. So Monster Hunter has this groove from time to time where, so Monster Hunter 1 and 2 were PS2 games. They then came out on the PSP later on. Monster Hunter Tri, and Portable Third did the same thing, but Portable Third did this cool thing where you had the PS3 game and the PSP game, and you could play together. You could swap. What was it? You could swap your character between versions, right? Then they did that with the Wii U version of Monster Hunter Tri. They made Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, so you could move between the 3DS and the 3DS and the Wii U. And they didn't do that with 4, because 4 was 3DS only, I think. And then Generations comes out on 3DS. Switch release comes out, you can do the whole transfer thing too. So it was literally just an upscaled port of a game that came out millions and millions of years ago. They already had the translation, so I didn't take them any time to retranslate or anything like that. Or at least I don't think they did anything like that. It just took time to come out. What I theorized happened was Monster Hunter World was fucking successful, and they were like, shit, we're making a lot of money here. So, oh, hang on, we've already made this game for Switch. We've already made Generations for Switch, or Double Cross for Switch. We've already got the translation. Let's mash them together. Actually release it in the West. Like, we don't even need to take a gamble now because we know it's really popular and the Switch is really popular. Let's release it now and rake in that cash. That's what I reckon happened, because it just seemed like they were dawdling and dawdling and dawdling to the point that I was actually going to import Double Cross from Japan so I can actually play the damn thing. I just completely skipped out on the 3DS release. I own... Where is my Monster Hunter 3DS? It's somewhere around here. I've got a Monster Hunter 4 3DS with 3U, Monster Hunter 4 on it, and I missed Generations, but they already had it. So to have an old school Monster Hunter game come out after World, so I could get my old school Monster Hunter fix, was kind of... It throws the mind a bit. Because it's like, is that where the series is going to go? Or are you still going to work on Classic? I avoided playing the demo of Rise because I wanted to be surprised. And people were like, oh, well, the graphics are... A lot of the world players were like, well, the graphics are crap on the Switch, and the this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, well, what are you guys complaining about? It's just like, it'll be like Generations then. It's just like, you know, the classic Monster Hunter games haven't changed at all. And I launch it today and find that it's closer to World. In every fucking way. But to me, it looks gorgeous. It's a version of World. It's not a version of World, but it's like, imagine World's gameplay style on a portable system. That's fantastic. And I didn't even really like World's play style. So let me just get into the beef with World's play style. As I said, Monster Hunter, classic Monster Hunter was very deliberate. World wasn't. Example, healing. Your health bar's going down, you need to get your health back up. You have to take a potion or herbs or whatever it is that you need to get your health or your stamina or whatever it is back up. To take a potion, you stop dead, do the animation to chug the potion, and then the character would do like an emote to say, yes, I've finished. And you have to wait for all of that to stop before you can move. And the second you start to do that stuff, the big monster thing that you're fighting will just aggro you and go, right, that's it, mate, you're done. So if you're low on health and you haven't timed this right, you haven't learnt the pattern, that thing's just going to punish you for being a dick. In Monster Hunter World, well, you go to chug the potion the same way, and you can keep on moving. You can't move full speed, but you can still walk. So if the enemy is far enough away and aggroes and comes at you, you can still walk out of the way of an attack, as monsters tend to kind of charge at you. Like straight line charge at you. So just keep on moving. Keep on moving. If an enemy in classic Monster Hunter would hit you, that would interrupt your heal, even if it was like a little one. Well, if you're surrounded by little ones now, just knock back that potion and just keep walking. Just keep walking. It got so much easier because you didn't have to really worry too much about getting hit by like a ranged attack or a little monster jumping at you, or you just didn't have to worry about it. It was super easy. Harvesting. So you have to collect items in Monster Hunter, like honey, mushrooms, herbs. You can combine them to make other healing items and stuff like that. Right? To do this stuff in classic Monster Hunter, yet again, you would have to stop on the spot. So if you were like gathering honey or whatever, you would stop, crawl about, do the little animation, pick up something, job done. You could literally go 1, 1000, 2, 1000, 3, 1000, 4, 1000, and then hope that you'd finish the animation, right? Which could be interrupted, or you could get murdered by the monster. In World, though, you could be sprinting along, and I do literally mean full bore bombing it, and then there's some honey. And instead of stopping and kind of searching, you just literally reach up, grab, and keep going. You maybe for a split second move half speed. Same with if you're going for herbs. You just sprint at the damn things and just sweep at the floor, and you've got them. Like, straight away. It was just like... The playstyle had completely switched up. You know, weapon moves. It was pretty easy to whiff attacks, miss in classic Monster Hunter, and moves combos were quite limited. But in World, they kind of tweaked all of that. You know, as a great sword user or a shield and sword user, I can just wail on things all day. Rise has World's combat. And, I mean, if you suck at World's combat, what is wrong with you? It's so easy. So easy. Because it's just, you're constantly moving. Even as a heavy-ass weapon user, you're constantly moving. And you're moving quite quickly, too, compared to classic Monster Hunter. Classic Monster Hunter, if you had a great sword, you would swing, stop, swing, stop, swing, stop. Like World, there could be overarm swing, slap, into wide swing, elbow charge, overarm again, and just you're just going and going and going. You are like a cleaving machine, right? I actually started Rise with Sword and Shield because I was like, you know what, I shouldn't say it. There's been a weapon in Monster Hunter since .1 called the Corona. It's a Sword and Shield combo, and I desperately wanted to get the Sword and Shield Corona, assuming it's still in Rise, because, you know, people get really upset and their feelings are hurt really easily. I wanted to get it just so I could kill everything with Corona. I thought it'd be funny, but I don't know if it's in it. And then I realised that they'd changed everything up to World combat, and I wasn't a huge fan of Sword and Shield in World. So I ended up just going, fuck it, I'm going Great Sword again, I'll just cleave everything into dust. But, like, to complain that Rise is easy after playing World, you silly fuckers. World is a cakewalk. It's an absolute cakewalk. But it's still fun. Like, I have to accept, as a classic Monster Hunter player, that World and Rise, that's where the series are going. That's where it's going now. And it's not bad at all. Clearly, because people realised Monster Hunter existed and bought it. A huge amount of sales for World. So it can't be half bad, right? I mean, it isn't bad. The Rise is very, very fun. Very, very fun. But incredibly easy. Now, the few points that I think I will agree on. So when World players say that it's easy, or too easy, like super dumbed down, simplified, again, shut the fuck up. Play classic Monster Hunter and come back to me, right? But I can understand on a couple of points that right off the bat, you start off with a Palico, which is a cat companion, which can heal you in battle. It can do small amounts of damage to enemies and stuff. It's a support character for single player. You now have a dog with you as well. And the dog will do basically the same thing. It will fight enemies, do small amounts of damage. Will obviously distract the bigger monster, so it's not constantly, you know, thrashing at you. But because you have two companions, people, I guess they assume that that's a lot easier. Also, when it comes to tracking, now I already mentioned the fireflies in World. In Rise, the game just literally tells you where the monster is. Right away, right off the bat, as soon as you start, you go on the map and there'll be like if you haven't seen it before, there'll be a question mark. Like a big Monster Hunter style question mark, just kind of drifting around the map. You know where it is. Harvest points, you don't have to search for those anymore. They are all listed on the map. If you have let's say you need to get unique mushrooms or kill a specific kind of monster to complete a small quest or whatever, the game literally goes there, go do it. No searching, no exploring. It's there. Go. So I guess that makes it easier, but then World was no better for that, in my opinion. It didn't necessarily show you straight away where everything was, but I mean, it was close. It was really close. There's other mechanics in Rise as well, where you can use this like little grapply hook thing, grapple bug, I don't know what it was called, but it's this thing where Monster Hunter World is now more, or Rise, sorry, is more aerial. It's where Rise comes from. It's more up in the air and jumping around and all this stuff. I found it a bit awkward. But it's there now. You had like a grappling hook kind of thing in World as well, but they've kind of beefed it up in Rise, and you can use this to ride big monsters now at some point, or you can do something to trigger an event to be able to ride the big monster to use it to fight another monster to do big damage or something like that. I haven't done it yet. I haven't got far enough into actually have triggered that yet, or I'm just really shit at it because I'm playing like a classic Monster Hunter player. But it's there. They've changed that. So a lot of people complained about the riding monsters thing, but you've been able to mount monsters at least and do massive damage since Monster Hunter 4. So I get to turn a big dragon on a big bear and watch them smash each other in the face. Whatever, that's not a big deal. But there's just the few things I had to really mention. I don't see them as that big of a problem. Now, I think World came a little too early for me. I'm over that initial kind of worldness that I had. Rise, I'm a bit more comfortable, and I love the hub world. It's got this very kind of Japanesey theme to it. Beautiful, looks absolutely fantastic. There's loads of quality of life stuff in it that I'm not going to go into. Just check it out. I'm sure loads of people have checked out reviews. This is not a review. I'm just saying I like the game, and thank you for the bits and bobs. But if you it's worth getting, classic or otherwise. You just got to get used to the fact that World has changed it. World marked the changing point for Monster Hunter. You will not get another classic Monster Hunter game. Generations being released after World was just a cash grab. I think. I assume. I believe that to be the case. But it's a good one because I got to play some classic Monster Hunter on a Switch, and new Monster Hunter is very, very good. Looks good. Oh, the doggo, you get to ride it around too. So instead of running around and wasting all your stamina, you can ride the dog. You just go, hey yo, doggo, can I ride? And it goes, yeah, mate. And then you run off and you're riding your dog, your stamina's gone up. And there's like other little bits and bobs like that too. So there's ways that you can kind of feint your way to regaining your stamina whilst you're doing something else, or you can heal whilst riding the dog, and you can heal while running, and all this other stuff. You couldn't do that in Classic Monster Hunter, so it's just a lot easier. And other Classic Monster Hunter players that I know have already said to me, yeah mate, we agree. We totally agree. In fact, most of my lot are Classic Monster Hunter players. Very few people I know started on World. I mean, it would be very hard to hang out with me and not know what Monster Hunter was. So, yeah, it's a very pretty game. I am very surprised by how pretty it is. Character customization was very pretty, but I just went with a generic thing. And all in, just it's sound. It really is. The fuck, man, the character voices annoy me. Voiced in English, Japanese, and I think you can use the Monster Hunter voices. Just turn on the Monster Hunter voices. I'm playing it in English at the moment and remembering that I absolutely hated it when they did that in World. Just because they just talk like kind of a gibberishy, they kind of like grumble at you when you're playing it in Monster Hunter voices. Much better in my opinion. It is nice. Especially for a Switch game, it looks very, very pretty. Not as pretty as like the game could look like on PS4 or Xbox One or Series X or PS5 or PC, but it looks good. Compared to classic Monster Hunter, it looks very, very pretty. If you can get over those changes, it's a very, very pretty game, a very pretty world. Go look at some classic Monster Hunter shots and then look at like Generations and see that realistically there wasn't a huge change between Monster Hunter 1 and like Generations, like Double Cross. I'm saying, there were just not like the style was very much the same. It's a fantastic series. I'm glad another one has come to Nintendo Switch. I don't mind so much that it's a world style game now. The quality of life stuff, I guess for a lot of people, is just needed. I didn't need it, but then we went back to playing Monster Hunter Portable, which is a remake of the. Is it Portable? Monster Hunter Freedom. Sorry, Monster Hunter Freedom is the world release of Monster Hunter Portable, which is a re-release of Monster Hunter One. We started playing that recently on the emulator, so we can do net play on it. I played the first few games solo because I was Billy No Mates, and getting PS2s online was expensive. So and I only knew a couple of people with PSPs, but so I like I said, Billy No Mates it until the Wii version of the game because the Wii had online play pretty easily, and that's when I really sunk my teeth into online. So Try is one of my favourites, but playing those classic games, inventory management can be a ball ache. You realise you haven't emptied your bag, and you go on the next quest, and your bags are full, so you can't gather stuff. You've forgot to do something again, and you've limited yourself. You've picked up the wrong gear or whatever. You can change all of that in World and Rise. Like, oh no, this monster's got this kind of attack, but I'm using armor that's like really shite against that, or I'm using the wrong. Just change it. You just go. There's a little hut on the map. Just go there, change it. Done. You don't have to go to the gates or anything anymore to start a quest. You can just say, yeah, boy, go, and you go. You can ready up without having to go and check the quest board and all that. Like, it's just, they've done so many things to make the game move quicker. Because I remember back in the day, man, you get 50 minutes to do a hunt. 50 minutes for one hunt. And sometimes you would literally be chomping at it. Like, 45 minutes. You've got 5 minutes left. And you're like, fuck, mate, the monster isn't even staggered yet. Oh, what are we going to do? And it'll be a mad dash to try and beat it. You ain't going to have anything like that in this one. They're all a lot quicker. It's a lot easier now. But it's still fun. It's still fun. So, I would say Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter Generations for sure are in my top 5 games on Nintendo Switch. And I think that would be... Oh, hang on. That would be Splatoon 2. Ys 8. Not in any particular order. Splatoon 2, Ys 8, Monster Hunter Rise, Monster Hunter Generations. Oh, there's another one that I really like. Astral Chain is pretty solid. Daemon X Machina is pretty solid. Breath of the Wild sucks balls. I don't care what anyone says. That game just sucks. That is just not fun. It looks very pretty, but it's not fun. Fuck it. Whatever. Yeah. So try Monster Hunter Rise. Give it a go. Fuck, that looked pretty though for a Switch game. Really looks pretty for a Switch game. That didn't cover anything, did it? I wish I could remember where I put the footage for the Monster Hunter original stuff, so I could kind of cut some in to show you, like, hey, I'm taking a potion, flex, and then brash, you get steamrolled by the monster because you were cocky and you weren't out of range. You didn't remember the pattern, and it just steamrolls you. Hey, I've got half my health back. Bam! No, you haven't. Half your health's gone. It's very quick, very quick. In Rise, but it's a hell of an experience so far. And the hub world alone sells it for me. Really pleased to have these. Super psyched. Expensive toys. I'm spoilt. I'm clearly loved, apparently. And yeah. Although I will say, can I just say one quick cop out? Digital only code on the EU release of Rise on Switch. I believe the American had a physical copy inside with a steelbook. No such luck here. No, on my luck, the code's probably been nicked, but I already have the game, so you know. Oh, beautiful. I do like Monster Hunter a lot. I'm biased, and I will always think that anyone that QQs about Rise being easy, you're a pussy. You've probably never played Classic, and if you came from World, you are definitely a pussy because World was easy. Really easy. Damn. I think I ended up with 10 mega potions by the end of like my second or third hunt. Like straight the fuck away. Takes seconds to gather materials in that game. It's not hard. Especially not when the game's like, oh yeah, by the way, mushrooms and honey are like here, go get them. And you just have to get on your doggo. The doggo's running or the doggo's sprinting, and you just reach out and grab everything you need. Easy mode, mate. Hope you're well. And I'll see you all with a bit of luck in the next one.